So I'm here in the Wyre Forest, which is a mix of coniferous and deciduous forest, not far from Bewdley in Worcestershire. And I'm going to talk a little bit today about the nutrient cycle. So the nutrient cycle is ultimately the recycling of nutrients within an ecosystem, so within this forest ecosystem. And it's incredibly important because it takes all the nutrients from the dead, decaying organic matter and replenishes the soil with those nutrients so that more vegetation or producers can grow. So just like the rainforest, the forest here has several different floors. So you have the forest floor, which is obviously incredibly damp and dark. Very little sunlight gets to the forest floor because of the vegetation cover from above. And as you can see, as a result, we've got lots of what we call leaf litter, which is dead and decaying matter on the ground because of the dark and damp conditions. So it's decomposing the leaf litter. And then the next layer up, we have the sort of shrub layer. So these ferns here would make up part of the shrub layer. These are short vegetation that are a little bit kind of off the ground, but not particularly as high as the trees. And then we have what I call the woody layer, which is the under canopy, which is probably about 10 foot, so just above my head. And as you can see, if you scan across the forest, there's a lot of wood and there's not particularly huge amounts of leaves. The reason why, because not much sunlight gets to the dealer here. I have to get the dog. Here we go. The canopy, or the under canopy, doesn't have many leaves because not much light reaches it, and as a result that would be a waste of the plant's kind of energy and nutrients to be growing leaves so far down. Then we have the thickest part of the forest, we have the canopy. So the canopy is that layer there, that very dense layer. Obviously we're in the autumn, where our deciduous leaves, so the leaves that lose their the trees that lose their leaves in the winter have lost their leaves, so it's not as dense as it would be, say, in the summer. But as you can see, the amount of leaf cover, the biomass in that layer is still very high. And as a result, that's what's blocking, the canopy is what's blocking the sunlight from getting to the lower down shrub layer and the forest floor. And then finally, above the canopy, we have an emergent layer. Now this is a forest that is being managed by humans, so you don't get many trees popping out above the rest in terms of the emergent layer. But those are the highest trees, the ones that rise above the canopy, and all of that upward growth is ultimately it's a competition for reaching the sunlight. So if we talk a little bit more about the nutrient cycle, as you can see, we've got here lots of leaf litter, and inside those leaves, which have fallen during the autumn, is lots of dead, decaying plant matter, and inside that it's full of nutrients. Now, because of the colder temperatures, the trees conserve energy by shedding their leaves. They are deciduous trees, so they lose their leaves, and as a result, lots of nutrients end up ready to go into the ground in this leaf litter. The thing that will make them go into the ground are decomposers. So those are microorganisms, things like fungi and bacteria, but also insects, things like worms, that will break down that leaf litter, that decaying matter, and remove the nutrients from it, or break it down into its constituent nutrients, and then those nutrients will return to the soil. Once they are inside the soil, they can be used by the producers in order to kickstart the nutrient cycle again. The producers will then be eaten by consumers, whether that's birds eating fruit off the trees or insects eating the bark of the trees, for example, and then eventually they will die. Decomposers also decompose things like birds, things like insects when they die, and they contribute to the nutrient cycle as well.